Hey guys, again, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to our show.
And if you love what you see, and I know you do, please rate, review, and subscribe. It would mean so much to us.
Yeah, it absolutely means the world to us, helps us get out to a wider audience, really just capture more people that we can help here with this show. Again, if you're getting value, check us out. Thank you again.
So grateful to you.
We are live, minus a video right now, which always makes things appealing here of something for that fact. So let's figure out why that is. But we'll take that from here for a second.
Hey guys, so we are trying to figure out what is happening to our video. It looks like it was unplugged. We are, that's a great picture of Jason.
That's it, me talking. And
yay,
look at this, magic. And that's amazing. So I hope you guys take note. That is probably one of the few times in my life that I touch something that has the word electronic associated with it. And it just magically happens with that. Because usually I just pound these gorilla hands onto stuff and hope for the best, which used to work. If you are my age, you used to be able to just hit TVs and stuff and magic happens. But today, that is a lot we're talking about, right? So sometimes we are gonna talk about being the rock and where that works and where that doesn't. So at this point, let's get going, let's get in motion and find out what else is happening here.
And we're here.
We are here. This is Jason.
This is Peely.
And this second cup of coffee Friday, we have a dynamic show for you planned out. And that says a lot because when there's kid plans, dog plans, everything else plans, sometimes planning doesn't always come through.
No,
but
I mean, if you missed the beginning, you would have seen Luke and our children like one at a time come in and ask about something.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what did we learn this week? We are at Friday. Hopefully it really comes down to that we've learned a lot, right?
I had a good week.
Good.
It was a great
Let's
week.
go.
It was a great week. So this week we released more Moms of Multifamily. I'm so excited. This was released with Becca Shea, Melissa Johnson, and Stephanie Betters. These are ladies that I've known for years. They are all in different aspects of real estate than I am, and I am just so excited to talk with them every Thursday, 1:00 Eastern. Join us. It's going to be live on all the platforms, on my page, Melissa's page, Becca's page, Stephanie's page. And I'm so excited to just kind of share the wealth. It's going to be an accountability call between us four ladies, and we're going to bring amazing guests on, and we're just going to share everything that we can, basically. Yesterday's show was all about introducing the show, talking about what we're going to do in the next few episodes, and really like digging deep into what the show is about. And it's all about connection. It's all about family, and it's all about real estate. So join us every Thursday. I'm super excited. And I've had such amazing conversations as well this week. I talked to Ashley Wilson yesterday as well. I had an amazing Thursday. So Ashley Wilson, she's the founder of Bar Down. And she actually has about, between her single family and her multifamily holding, she has about $40 million under her belt. So this conversation with this extraordinary mama was just amazing. And she talks about her partnership with her husband, how to be patient with your children, and above all, how to do everything that she does and still maintain an amazing, positive outlook. I mean, she is basically the owner and operator of her multifamily properties. She coaches and talks with, some of these amazing multifamily operators that she talks to on the background and gives them advice. And she's not really flashy. She doesn't tell everybody what she's doing. But the thing is, she's partnered up with Liz and Andressa from the Invest Her Nation. And they're putting together a summit that's coming up June 12th. So if you haven't gotten your tickets for that, please do.
So on that topic of having conversations, I just had a dynamic conversation today. It was just, I actually connected with someone that I hadn't spoken to in 20 years. And it was an amazing conversation. And he's probably, I'll say he is the most successful person I know. And he's always had this drive and always had this point. He's always just put his energy in the right spot. And he's been heads of some very successful companies all over the world. And currently he's in Europe, and starting on new ventures. But he says to the point that he's found a point in his life where he's lived in very luxurious places, right? And he's grown up, they have 3 young kids. And as they've done that, as they've learned to grow, one of the things that stood out is that he wanted to make sure that his family was understanding the reality of living life and not having everything either living behind closed gates, or that every friend around you, their kids and their parents have Ferraris and Lamborghinis, because it was setting something up where the children weren't, they just weren't grasping the quality and context of life. And he said now his search for looking at, basically their seed investors or their Series A investors investing in growth companies, and looking at that point, he wants to make sure that he has enough money to cover his bills, to take care of his family. So now it's important for him to find investments where it can create impact, right? It's not always about the money. It's about now creating impact. And he moved his family away from all that into a space here where he said, they're doing something they've never done before. They're mowing the lawn. And it's just a simple thing, but they're enjoying it, right? Because they've always had everything just really reached out and put in front of them. And now on that point, they're doing these activities that they're getting back to what he feels he considers real life. And that's been something that really stood out. And when you look at that, he's continuing to look at things from a fresh perspective. We were talking real estate, talking management. We were just, it was very clean, because he is not in real estate, but the way that he can conceptualize and look at something from a different set of eyes or a different set of goggles, and look at where is the possibilities to create a more fluent process, a more engaging process, something that's going to grow, something that's going to continue to grow. Well, it was such a great conversation, because you look at so many different spaces within real estate, especially where we're in here, in multifamily real estate, where not everything is at the same pace, right? There's some archaic processes still being used because no one's taking the time to define what's the best process to move forward, what's the best user experience to move forward. And sometimes that's what it takes, right? And that's what it's going to take right now. We're going to look at this point here where, okay, this has happened with COVID. And I was reading something today where, we go back to the 1918 pandemic, which we spoke about before. There wasn't a lot that was learned from that. There wasn't a lot of new things that came out of there, right? But then you go back to 2007, 2008, and there's so many new engaging companies. But now we're moving into a world here where, okay, what's the thing that's going to make the user experience the best, right? It's now creating touchless transaction, right? Because now everybody is going to have a point about, keeping germ-free or setting up germ-free mode. So, you start to see these little knickknacks coming out of your putting on rings, and the ring is going to be, a germ phobia ring where you can touch, to sign or to hit, the debt where you pay for, your soda or whatever with the ring. So looking at, okay, how does that translate to business, right? Where's this going to be this touchless approach for going through, airports, right? So Clear is now their technology for going into airports is really going to be interesting, right? Because they've used this, right? So now they can go in there and eyesights, fingertips, and check really now your temperature and other vitals, and then basically upload your COVID test if you had one. Which now you think of that, how is that going to create a seamless process? But now you take that technology now, okay, great in airports, right? But why can't that be used in office buildings or other businesses now as people go in there, that it can be set up so you can get rid of that, you have a cough. Is that a cough from something that's going to be impactful or not? But just thinking of it that way, where can what I'm doing right now be used to benefit in other ways? Because so many times we think that, okay, just because we have this, this is all it's good for. Well, okay, potentially, but what if you turn that around? Right? And what if we turn that around for good? Like we talked about the reCAPTCHA and the CAPTCHA of basically where they're making sure you're human. When you go to buy something, you have to type in those letters. And it's such an annoyance. But when the creator was able to turn that around and have that translate basically paper books and let the computer understand what these words were, well, now it takes a whole new light. Well, how can we do that with your business today? What can that be with your restaurant experience, with your small business experience, with your construction business? Where is going to be this opportunity opportunity that you can now create a more seamless approach. And you'll find there, generally, this is how it works, right? The training process is difficult. It's hard. It's sometimes ambiguous, but more you can lock that down and create that flow, it may cost you 100 hours up front, but that 100 hours now saves you years in the future, because now you have a model, you have approach, you have everything that can go through here just to transcend to that next step. And that really parallels today to our conversation, right? The rock in the ocean, right? The rock in the ocean. And we hear this a lot, that we want to be the rock, right? Be the rock, be the one who's there. But the ocean teaches the rock that may sound great, but if the rock is getting crushed by the ocean and crushed by the ocean and crushed by the ocean for hundreds and hundreds of years, the rock starts to create formation and starts to adapt to the waves, right? It starts to contour to the waves. It doesn't just say, let me just resist you as much as I can, and we'll just have this constant battle of resistance. But so many times we do that in our same life, right? And I'm going because you walked this. So we're on the train right now. But you go into this point here where you say, I am going through that wall. I am going to get through that wall. I don't care who's going to stop me. I'm going right through that wall. And you do it. You get through that wall, right? And you get to the other side, and you spend all that time, you spend all that energy, and you spend everything, but you didn't look to see that there was a door 3 feet to the left where you could just open it up and walk through. And so the goal, the destination was correct, right? But your path, you were fighting the wave. You were saying, let me fight the wave. And it happens a lot, and not a great surfer. So you can see her parents and her dad and her brother and her sister, they love this. This is what they do to me, is that they allow me to go out there and surf with them, which is awesome. It's a wonderful experience when you visit our family. As soon as I get to that point where I'm comfortable, the next day it's a harder beach, right? So, and then I'm just uncomfortable. And then the next day it's the harder beach, right? And then, so I actually never get that grasp. I'm just constantly in the washing machine, right? But you find the more you resist and you try and fight the waves, well, the waves are going to win. So sometimes you can't try and fight the waves back to shore. You actually have to go with the current. And even if it takes you 100,000 feet over, at least you'll find your way where you find your calm, cool water. How to learn that the hard way, right? I'm like a big, shaggy dog trying to paddle and do all these other things, and just standing up, right, is let alone an adventure, right? And the other thing when you're standing up, right, is just you want to see where your destination is, right? So where do you fall, right? If you're so worried about standing up, you're looking at your feet. Well, of course, you're going to follow your feet. And that's a lot with us, right? If our destination is right in front of us at our feet, and we're not looking out, and we're not looking for that clear path to that next step, yeah, it's going to hurt, and we're going to stumble along the way. Probably stub our toe, probably fall, probably stay in the dishwasher.
Sorry, I'm just listening to everything that you're saying.
Well, I got a good one more for that point. So the dog treats used to be under, and this is the dishwasher thing. The dog treats used to be under the sink, right? And my dog Jack would always come over, putting stuff in the dishwasher. One day, by accident, and this dog eats anything. Go down, grab him a treat, put him in there, and it was actually one of those pods by accident. And he had these little squishy little things, and all I hear is he spits it out. It goes flying, right? Greatest story from a bulldog. And if you know Jack, he's one in his own. So
yeah, Jack the bulldog, Jack the rhino.
So welcome, Peely. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. We're
how you
talking
doing?
about.
When did you get here? So how was the flight in?
It was great. I washed my hands, totally sprayed myself down. So we're talking about rocks in the ocean. As soon as we came up with this topic, I mean, the first thing I think of, because I'm from Hawaii, and everyone in Hawaii calls, like, if you've lived in Hawaii long enough, or if you were born there, sometimes it becomes known as the rock, because in Hawaii, you're so isolated, and you're just basically this rock in the middle of the ocean, a very beautiful, amazing rock, but a rock nonetheless. And you have a lot of people have to fight the urge, or give into the urge, to leave this beautiful, everybody thinks it's amazing paradise. And it's a beautiful place, but the thing is, real life happens. So as you are being the rock in the ocean, how are you adapting to your surroundings? How are you letting the environment impact you, and how are you impacting the environment? Because being in Hawaii, you become sort of one with everything that's happening, because it's not cold there, of course, except if you go up Mauna Kea, but you notice the little changes in the temperature, the little changes in the way the wind is hitting you. If you surf, you understand what the waves feel like. If it's choppy, if it's an amazing set, if you had an amazing time, or if you, like Jason, get stuck in the dishwasher, you can feel those changes. So how are you feeling the changes and adapting in your life, in your business, in your spirituality, in your emotions? Like, how are you adapting? And are you adapting correctly? Are you course correcting as you need to? So, I mean, that's my little spiel on the rock, because I can talk about Hawaii. I can be here forever, but we just passed the 15-minute mark. So if you are running, if you're exercising and you're taking that half an hour, then you have hit that half an hour mark. And so if you're running one way, you might want to turn around and come back the other way. So what are we talking about next, Mr.?
So let's talk fitness,
Jason?
right? So,
Yes.
We're in workout. I got a 6-mile run in today. Peely has 2 workouts to go,
I haven't
right?
done anything.
Yeah, but it will come. I'm going to take the kids for a little agenda, but I think you always have plans, right? And you have to adjust. And so today the plan is sometimes there's a point where we have a direction, right? Peely is taking care of school, family during the day, and I'm focusing on business. But there are times that path has to break, right? That path has to move. So today we're gonna flip flop, right? I'm gonna take the kids in the afternoon. I got a couple more calls to make. We're gonna take that and really make it happen, right? And Peely's gonna have the time to allocate to what she needs to get done, get some workouts in. So yesterday I actually did lunges. I did basically thrusters. I did jumps, basically just jump ups, and then I also did dumbbell swings, and I did shoulder taps. So playing shoulder taps in repetition there, and that was a good workout. Today got a run in. I'm continuing on the note for working with the kettlebell, just working on full body ever since doing that 500-mile runs over the course of April. I got to get a little bit of my flexibility back. So I lost a little with so much running during that month. And we do have, I have a 100-mile race coming up, which is sweet in August. And I'll do some long runs before that. Whether or not it happens, it's on the border of Canada. We'll see, but that will be fun, right? Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to it, because I have decided that I'm going to train to get myself up to the point where I can run the last whatever miles. I'm hoping for a marathon, but at least half a marathon with Jason, to kind of end his race with him, to be a pacer for him.
And she's got a lot of work here, because if we have no one to come with us for the kids, she might be pushing a double stroller with a third kid, maybe on the skateboard. So we'll see how that goes. But that's work to be seen. So we're going to move into the next week. We got a lot of fun things going on. We had Chris Jackson's on the podcast today. If you missed it, he is talking about how to win in any environment, in any real estate environment. And it's really looking at your core business, right? And looking at how to move forward. And for this weekend, we're going to continue to just get out there, get our runs in, and just keep moving along, and just keep pushing ourselves to that next stop. Reading a couple good books now, right? So on that point, I am reading Venture You, which has been cool. I just found it all about startup capital, and I'm also reading How to Create a Life Plan, which was somewhere in here. So grab that book. Those have been the 2 I've been diving in on.
And I'm finishing up the Coronavirus Collective. It's an amazing collective of authors put together by Jillian Sidoti and Jeffrey Holst. It's amazing if you want something positive and something that, like, proof in the pudding that kindness and positivity will push you to that next step. This is the book that you need to buy. It's on Amazon. It's called Coronavirus Collective. You can look up Jillian Sidoti and Jeffrey Holst. I'm also reading Everything is Figure Outable by Marie Frolio.
I'm gonna let you on with that one. I have no idea.
I'm gonna get her last name wrong. So Maria, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but it's an amazing book. I've just started that book. I'm reading the both sort of congruently, whichever one is in front of me or nearby that I can grab and just start reading when I have the time to. So,
and over on my Facebook, I'm sorry, I see that when it kicked us off the video, it kicked us off over there. But you can find us over on, of course, all the other platforms we got rolling today. So for that, let's keep things moving. Let's have a great weekend.
Yes, thanks.
And we will see you on Monday.
Join us for your second cup of coffee every Monday through Friday at noon.
Live every day, bringing us our best content we've done so far. Super excited, super engaging, bunch of great guests. We're here to answer your questions, and we so appreciate you listening. Make sure to check this out.
Can't wait to see you.